Sentinels, they are through to the next round, but it's time to see how the second game of the day is going to go. Welcome back, everybody, to day 11 of Champions Seoul. And it's time, of course, for Trace versus EDG. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm here once again with Kakuka and Mimi. It's time to get into those inter-regional matchups.
Finally, right? We had such an incredible Sentinels versus DRX, and it doesn't matter what happens now. I want to see how the rest of the players pan out, because it is a different feel than from groups.
And this is an exciting one, because Trace has never beaten EDG at home, but they've looked so much better here than they did look back in China. So I'm hoping this will be a lot closer than it was back regionally.
Yeah, let's talk about their results back in China, because they have played against each other quite a few times. We do have data, Mimi, on this matchup, but as you said, EDG has always had their number.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Trace, when you watch them play at home, you saw the ideas that they show here, right? Trying to play the really structured, slower style comparatively to the rest of their region, but it always felt like there was this block when they played against EDG. The EDG individuals would just take control, the chaos would get injected into the game, and they would crush them pretty much every single time these teams played.
Yeah, and we know that in the region, and we're seeing here the results is not looking the best, because this year, even though they faced against each other a bunch of time, Trace hasn't even been able to get a map off of EDG. And do not get me wrong, Trace did make it flawlessly out of their group. They did drop a couple of maps, but still, the form that they're showing here internationally, how they're stepping up, and more importantly, how they're facing against the other regions and their style, how they're studying, has been surprising. Still, it's EDG. Sometimes it's just going to happen.
For sure. And the question for this match is Trace, the team who lost in China and got crushed every time and were perpetually a third, fourth seed there, or is this the Trace that showed up and upset teams like Vitality and Leviathan?
This is the thing, though. At what point do we stop using that word upset? Because, I mean, throughout Bianche's entire career, I feel like every single game that he's won is being considered on the global stage as a big upset. But looking over at EDG here, they didn't lose to PACIFIC. They made it out, Kakuka, by eliminating an old foe.
It is crazy to see like EDG performing like this. As you're saying, taking down PACIFIC, how in history like the pressure has been able to get the best out of them in some situations. And this one, especially when it went to the third map, you could feel this is either going to be a stomp or like there is no good way to get out of this matchup. The form that they're showing, I don't know if it's top EDG. What I do know is that even internationally, they've only faced against Chinese teams once. They won. It was a year ago. And I feel like in their region, they know exactly what to do. This shouldn't feel for them like they're international.
Yeah, EDG has won every trophy that we've had in the partnership era in VCTC, and they're dominant there. And honestly, the latter part of that series was dominant against PACIFIC too. It looked a lot like some of those China games where the game got a little bit chaotic, it got messy, it got muddy, but they held strong. They still had great individual moments, and honestly, solid trading, all things considered, to close out in those chaotic situations. That's where EDG thrives.
Yeah, and this is the thing, though. At this point, making out of groups is just not enough for EDG anymore. They have so much pressure from the fans back at home, especially after what happened in Shanghai, that they want to push it further. And Mimi, is this a realistic goal for them this time around?
I think it's tough to say. In group stage, we saw some good form, some great moments from EDG. Those early games, they honestly looked really well put together. The PACIFIC game was chaotic, but good. But there always is this final hurdle, right? And I think it would mean even more for this team to make it top 4 this Champions because of what you're mentioning in Shanghai. You go and you play a Masters in front of your home crowd, and you lose 2 games and you're gone. That's heartbreaking for the team that has been the face of the region for so long.
Yeah, and look at the other side. We're talking about Trace making it first seed out of their group. This can go 2 ways. Either it gives you the confidence to feel, yo, this is my tournament. The things that we were not able to achieve before, we're gonna do now. First, making it out of groups, making it out of groups. Now we're gonna take down EDG. But on the other side, we're talking about an EDG that keeps getting the experience. That sometimes when we see the situations, when it looks like they're going to win, and they get that third map against PACIFIC, and they revitalize, you say, maybe this is the tournament. Maybe this is the chance.
I mean, this is the other thing with EDG. But first, let's check in with Smoggy, who's standing by with Golden Boy ahead of today's match.
Hey everybody, GB here now with Smoggy. We got Luna for the translations yet again. EDG and you specifically, Smoggy, have been playing awesome throughout this competition. How excited are you for EDG, but also for the Chinese region as a whole? Because you guys have 2 teams in playoffs.
那其实，在之前的比赛里面，不光是你个人 EDG 整体的发挥都非常的棒，那就你个人而言也好，也是为了我们现在赛区也好，你觉得满意目前我们在冠军赛的一个表现，以及你觉得现在这个表现你们开心吗？
我觉得我还是很开心的。然后我觉得私人赛区来到冠军赛的每一个队伍都打得很好，然后大家都很尽力，就是不后悔就好了。
I think I'm satisfied with the result right now. Every team from CN League have tried their best, and they are super great teams, and we'll try our best.
Yeah, well, we've loved every minute watching China absolutely light up the stage. Thank you so much, Smoggy, for your time. Back to you guys.
This is the thing about Smoggy as well. He's saying how he's very happy about the results. He doesn't look that happy, but he's ice cold. And some of that ice coldness, Mimi, has given EDG a chance to look great.
It certainly has. Smoggy on this controller role has been lights out thus far this tournament. We've seen him play other roles throughout his history on this team. Early on, a duelist player for the roster, but now I think he's really found himself. He's found his form, and he's such a critical piece of what brings this team success. It's not just about Kung being a star duelist anymore for them to win.
You know it, Mimi, when we were discussing and talking about our rosters, if we had to pick one player from every region, for me it would be Smoggy, because I feel him, and I feel like, especially in the future, he's going to become so flexible. He has every single spirit that he needs in it. When he needs to be more on the controller side, when he needs to be more patient, he's that kind of guy. But I feel like could play in any of the positions and will make the roster work time and time again. Plus 21 against PAPERX, probably one of the reasons, or one of the major reasons, why they even made it out of groups.
I do wonder if he's going to put in that performance today, because looking at the other side of this, Kakuka, it's Trace, #1 seed. Perhaps even the #1 team for China at this point, given their performance in the group stage.
I love it, because pick'ems have been such a big thing this year, like having in the launcher and everything inside of the game. And I feel like Trace destroyed some of the dreams for so many people, but for them, having another team on the top 8 from this region, from China, it was about them time, and the fashion in which they did is, yes, there's been some sloppy rounds, but all the clutches going in their way, keeping their calm time and time again, Mimi.
When we've seen other teams besides EDG come out of China and impress, it's been so often about the individuals, the unique play style. That was the case with Billy and their big upset. That was the case with FPX coming out with being such a unique
Justice
team.
for FPX.
Absolutely. But Trace is a team who plays a lot like the Western teams. They play very slow, standard Valorant. They focus a lot on their mid-rounding, their deadlock in particular when they're playing binds. They look like the best team implementing that agent right now. Playing only one initiator, but using that deadlock as an initiator, finding so much value from the net, having such clean post plans. It's all about the fundamentals for this team. They've looked so clean, and they're besting some of the best teams in the world, like Leviathan, to pull it off. It's unbelievable.
And we know that the first match was close. We expect this one to be close. I wonder, like, what image do people have in their heads? Is Trace really going to have a Cinderella run? Or do we expect that at some point they're going to go down and we're going to forget that this even happened, you know? But we have had so many surprises that now, and after what we've seen the past couple of weeks, we cannot count them out.
I'm down for the miracle run. It's champions we're talking about. We got to be down for that. But for now, let's check in with Golden Boy once again, who's with Law King from Trace.
Hey everybody, GB here with Lo King and Luna for the translations. EDG and Trace have played against each other so many times in the past. What can Western fans expect between both teams today as you guys take the stage?
那其实 EDG 和 T 已经交手过非常多次了。那你觉得今天外赛区的观众们可以期待你们怎样的一个表现呢？
我是觉得可能就是，这一次就是可能说是快乐游戏吧，然后。希望能让外赛区的观众看到我们在过去用过的一些地图上使用一些全新的东西吧。
I think we're just gonna enjoy the stage, happy game, and maybe audience from other region can expect that we can use some different things, but still the same map.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I got Trace winning today, so best of luck, buddy. Back to you guys.
I love the vibes. I love the like. I just want to make everyone happy about the way we play. But also, I think it's really interesting the way he says, you know, we're going to show you some maps we already shown, but with new things. And we love new things.
Yeah, we've been talking.
Coming from the team that plays Deadlock, I'm loving it.
Absolutely. And they weren't playing Deadlock regionally. That was something that was new for this team coming into Champions. That was one of their worst maps back home. So I'm all here for it. I love this team's innovation thus far, and I love what we're seeing from the guy in that interview. Lowking has come to this international event, and he has kept up every piece of form that he had back home. The amount of multi-kill clutch rounds that this guy wins for his team is out of this world. They don't have like a star duelist in the way they do with Kang Kang. Obviously Kai and Feng Feng are both great. They have consistency, and that's what he brings.
But still, like, especially focusing on him, I think that when I've seen him play against EDG, I've seen his struggle. When we talk about EDG and the confidence that they feel against Trace Esports, I feel like they might have his number, but the form that we're seeing here, again, the confidence that it's given for them, that they bring in, implementing new things on the biggest stage in the planet, in the moment that it matters the most, and it's working. It gives you the kind of confidence that nothing else gives.
And you gotta give it to them as well. They've been fearless against Vitality, fearless against Leviathan, and the way that Hebe was like, yeah, that's my idol, Aspas, that's my go. And he still managed to go out there and put out that kind of performance. At this point, Mimi, even though their track record don't look great against EDG, I don't think they're gonna play with any fear on that stage.
I don't think so. And I think if they win today, it really would be an end of an era. China has always been a region that is dominated by EDG. They've been to so many international events. They've made it so close to that top 4 mark and haven't made it before. But we've never had that second team who can make it into playoffs and make deep runs. And I have no doubt if Trace beats EDG today, this is their time to take over in that regard and be that #1 for CN.
I feel like I want to double or nothing that. I think that no matter who wins today, I have the feeling that the next one, they won't go out of the tournament instantly. Because, of course, if they lose today, they still have the lower bracket. What I want is for them to make it into that top 4. And nothing, that would be definitely a new era of Valorant, where 2 of the teams in the top 4 are from China.
As long as they don't have to knock each other out, I feel like that will be the saddest thing.
Well, they won't now.
Yeah, they won't now, but later in the lower bracket maybe. But do you anticipate a lower bracket run, even if somebody gets knocked
any of
down?
them. Yeah, I would like that. I would like that to be the change of era. The change as in, we don't take it, oh, it's just CN, you know, the easy matchups. No, every single time that they come into this international stage, they give the best of them.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see it. And this is it, you guys. We had an exciting first game already, and it's time for another exciting game. Let's send it down to the stage and bring out our teams for this one. It's Trace Esports and Edward Gaming.
Trace Esports. Edward Gaming.
We have seen this regional matchup many times this year, but let me remind you, the team standing on this stage now, coming in as seed 1 from their group, is not EDG. It is Trace Esports. And looking at this map pool, do you guys feel like they could have any kind of advantage going into this?
Well, they have their map. Their bind has looked excellent thus far, playing it in both series, winning it both times. That deadlock comp has looked just excellent for Trace. So I couldn't think of a better place for them to start.
Maybe they don't play it. Maybe they got
that would be
else.
Crazy.
It doesn't matter how many teams EDG has gotten the win over them this year. It doesn't matter. It all comes down to this. This is the most important out of all of them. It is this best of 3. So it was bind, second one. Remind me again. I was too excited
Sunset
about it.
coming up.
Yeah, and for me, if I were Trace Esports, I want to close this out 2-0. I do not want to go to Lotus against EDG. When things get a bit weirder, when it gets a bit later, EDG are the ones that have way more experience in those situations.
Not against Smoggy.
Yeah, that double smokes comp, I mean, they cooked PACIFIC in the chaos with that one. I think they could drag anyone into the mud, no matter the team there. Sunset is a big question, though, because I think that's been a good map for EDG. We saw them beat PACIFIC. That's PACIFIC's best map in that last series, and have always been solid there. But starting on bind,
okay, the deadlock is going to be staying in. Okay, so a little bit of history, you know, besides the deadlock that, of course, we're going to be looking into. At the beginning of the tournament, this was a 3rd map for Trace, but it went so freaking well, they decided to pick it for the next one. What they thought was something that they prepared just in case, and that might work, ended ended up being something they feel very comfortable in.
They absolutely do. On this defensive side and in the second half as well, watch how they're using this grab net. It's like a second initiator, the amount of value Trace is getting.
I can't wait to see it. Let's send it over to your casters. Show some love. It's Pansy and Steel.
Thank you so much. The analyst desk kind of teeing this one up regionally, this matchup. Yes, EDG have got that title head-to-head on them. What is it? 5-1 record so far. 13 maps played against each other, and only 2 times has Trace managed to best EDG. However, it takes one day, one moment for it to go right, and Trace have looked outrageously good so far. But Josh, where's the difference going to be made here?
Trace is definitely looking to break the streak here, but I'm looking to EDG to set the tone. They're more well-rounded, but we've seen their highs and lows. And Trace, it's all on their game plans that they bring out in those first 30 seconds that really let us know, are they going to have a chance or not? And into the round, we got EDG.
Blinded.
Going to get spotted at long B there, but doing a slow contact into this B area.
With EDG on the attacking side, let's see how they handle Heibe, especially playing that deadlock, looking wonderful in their previous series, especially against the likes of Lev. Very strong, very hard to handle. They know what's happening here. Yankee has to respect this and fall away to safety, but they look to take space elsewhere, and they've done just that. But can they close down? They can't! Waiting on the other side, EDG so aware of what was coming their way, and they just wipe house. It's just down to 1. In a 1v4, what are you meant to do here?
My ultimate isn't ready.
Can't use the hat. EDG. The firing squad.
Clean. I love that as well. So diligent in approaching. It shows a level of respect. EDG are taking no prisoners and not taking it lightly. Even in a 1v4, they're sat there facing CT together. I want to see what this looks like now with Trace being pressured by someone that knows them this well.
And knows them very well as well. We've seen Trace here at this event before. We've seen them play their bind, and they rely heavily on their defense sided. They've got the double sentinel, so they rely on those setups that they run. But if you don't run into the traps, then they don't really know what to do and how to rebound after that. And EDG just taking all that space, knowing exactly where Trace was going to play from, and abused it, really. Slow opening. Grabbing that orb. And EDG just taking their time, letting the round just develop, let it simmer a little bit.
And you're right, somewhat of a default if you're looking across this. Yeah, a little bit more intention potentially there towards clearing shower, but they're not in any real hurry. The furthest commitment of utility coming from Simon there, clearing out towards Hookah, but that's it.
It's going to be important for EDG to be able to convert these rounds very cleanly. We saw in the last series they played against PRX, things got very messy, very sloppy.
Here comes the burst. Clear, so far, beautiful. EDG crossing the T's, dotting the I's. Smoggy catching Kai as well, perfectly aware of what's happening. They have a vice-like grip on this game so far. There's no slipping through the cracks. And for Trace, you're looking to see if they can maybe achieve some damage. You've got what? I mean, really, they could afford to only really lose Simon if you're EDG. Otherwise, you don't want to be dropping the Phantom potentially or the Bulldogs coming out to play. But look at the progress as well towards Nobody. That ult is very nearby. That's on the horizon, potentially even in the next round it could be. So as it stands, Trace going to have to sit this one out, maybe try and give it up to the Spike if they can, or face the music and try and feed in. But they're going to try and play Nobody forward, switching out. So he's got the Ghost here, see if he can get that ult going. If he falls, it's fine. Another step towards the ult. If he gets the kill, even better. Beautiful. Oh, they are on it today. That's clean stuff. That's the ult ready to go.
I want to see Trace do something a little bit different than what they typically do. So normally in a lot of their gun rounds, they'll set up with 2 towards B. Usually they're inside of Hookah and 3 towards A. But if they do the same thing in EDG, they've probably prepared for this match. They know exactly what's going on. If they're able to get up long B for free and crunch that Hookah area with that Thrash, that's going to be very dangerous for Trace. It's going to be very explosive. It's going to be very fast-paced. It's their bonus round, so using that Thrash is going to be huge.
And I like this adjustment, though, kind of putting the Deadlock utility in complement towards A with the deeper Cypher setup as well. So that's going to be in practice, but again, it does eliminate some of the stopping power on B, but they've got the bodies here.
A change-up as well. The defense is towards long B.
Oh, what an opener, though. Perfect work But the double stack on long can still hold some value. You're going to have that ult going through. You can hear it going off. It's going to check towards long. They now know at least one, potentially two. And they can only keep them so safe. BNK, though, great shots. Two back-to-back. But sadly for Hebe, he couldn't get his hands out of that in time. So a 3v2 here. And this was the bonus. Yes, well invested around. There's plenty of Bulldogs. They've still got this Vandal here. An upgrade for nobody, if I'm not mistaken. And well, it's a long road back in here. These post plants are very difficult, and they've got Stall. They've got Mosh still. They've got the Viper utility. EDG have so many options to buy precious time. Kai would love a kill here. Not going to get it. Smoggy. I mean, he's just been outstanding throughout their series. I have to take a moment to give credit to him. Again, a lot of us, if you are newer to watching EDG in the last couple of international debuts, eyes went towards Kangkang, and that's fair enough. I think he became such a highlight, you know what I mean? The beast from the east. Fair play. But in this tournament especially, Smoggy, I mean, he's like the debt collector out here. There's no getting past him. He'll get his man. He'll close you out rounds. He's been on the money. First big pickup there from EDG, especially converting that bonus.
And a little bit of a different plan from Trace. I was highlighting how they like to play in hookah a lot, but this time they chose to play 3B. They played to stop that long B from EDG, but EDG basically went 4 players up through hookah there and found that gap. So it's a lot of mind games coming into play here about how are you going to adjust based on how we normally play. We've seen each other twice this year, 6 times over the last couple of years. And again, Trace opening up with 4 players towards B, trying to just change things up ever so slightly, collect this orb for free. And EDG, again, setting the tone, setting the tempo. Not trying to walk into any traps here.
Again, it's such a mental barrier to get past too, especially for your Trace after the amount of history between each other.
You see that smoke on that TP? They were expecting some sort of trap play to come out from this eco round, utilizing that teleporter, but the Brim smoke just preemptively placed as they took Shower's control.
It's lovely to witness. Now leaning back in towards A short. There is still the setup here.
A lot of trips.
That could be rewarded on this. You're looking at maybe, I don't know, maybe one of the players be able to swing. There's not really many people in the positions, and they've already navigated past. Kangkang's not falling for this. He already knows what's up. There's the impact, though. Kai does get rewarded for that little bit of a setup. There are still 3 players here. The Danger Man, Feng on the other side. He has got that Vandal. A tap on the spike, but no commitment this time. Second time of asking. Should be going down. I don't think there's a denial. There's not. Time is on EDG's side. That's lovely. Good information on Smoggy. As said, the debt collector himself, the closer of a lot of these rounds, but Kangkang the one to lean forward, takes the space away. Kai removing nobody, but there's still numbers, and I told you about Smoggy! You can't forget about this guy. Try to take a fair fight, you got it. But the molly goes down and denies the way back towards that spike. Flash goes in, they're trying to bring this back with stingers. So difficult to get close, and Kangkang's having none of it. Another found, beautifully navigated, so aware.
And as we go into the second gun round, we already see the showstopper on the side of the attackers here. So definitely we're going to see something being changed up. Trace instantly calling a timeout here because, hey, nothing's been going our way. They've been reading us perfectly like a book. And almost walking into that trap there for our EDG, getting caught by that tripwire. And we're going to see these double trips on the Cypher. We're going to see the deadlock setups as well coming into play. And even moving into the attack side, they have these cool map control things with the deadlocks. But Kangkang, he's got this showstopper. So I'm gonna expect to see him using this to get into the faces of Trace. But again, what's the tempo gonna be like?
That's the question. How do they want to implement it? They've got options now. Timeout for Trace, as you said. Things aren't going right. Almost feels clairvoyant in approach, right? EDG so equipped with what Trace are bringing, so the perfect time to pump the brakes, try and come up with a solution. But adding insult to injury to an extent, the economy is looking very good for EDG as well. Starting to really build some funds behind these purchases. You've got, I mean, orbital strikes not a million miles away, so they've got a couple of key ults coming on, but similar scenes for Trace. They do have the Seekers one-off, a couple away from Hebe's. I mean, there are options, but it's not really just down to the ults here. It's been the overall ethos, that approach to this. I want to see a change up from Trace here. I want to see them try and get back some control.
When I look at Trace as a team, they look like they're a team that has these really good plans, but once you kind of jab them in the mouth, they don't know how to handle the situation from there. Their mechanics individually are really good,
yes,
but it comes down to their fundamentals and their decision-making on an individual level, and EDG edges them out in those types of situations. Right here, kind of like pistol round opening, 3 towards long B, looking to close the gap there, but they do have the showstopper. I'll highlight one more time here.
And that puts Hebei in a real predicament. Yet to get started in this 0-4. Could do with this. This would be a big confidence boost. And it's gone. A trade, yes, that is the showstopper removed, but they have a 2-for-1 trade, and they have a good step towards this B side. This goes on, Bianca. Oh, there's no escaping. You gotta face the music. Face your fate, and EDG. Again, so much discipline and approach, constantly with the right idea. And Kai, I mean, it's a formality here. It's a 1v4, very difficult. Good step on the first. 3 more, though. A lot to ask. Already being checked on by Choo here. Just around the corner, clean. Again, Josh, I'm not seeing ways in here for Trace. They are getting held at the door.
At some point, Trace is going to have to drop their game plan and get sloppy, get down dirty in the mud with EDG and roll with the punches. Because if you look at how EDG is approaching this game right now, they know, okay, I'm against double Sentinel. We got a Cypher and we've got a Deadlock. If we go fast, we run into the traps. So we're going to go slow. We're going to contact our way up and move ever so slightly, not to kind of run into those traps and engage those. And then they're catching them. They're winning those duels as well. Trace could easily set up more different traps, but that's not part of their game plan. So they're going to have to make these adjustments on the fly. And another eco here with a 4-man B start. They're putting a lot of pressure on this B defense as well.
And the mental fortitude to constantly have to pick yourself back up after these harrowing rounds, really. Trace are going to be feeling the pinch here after what has been a brilliant international look at them. Struggling against the #1 of their region for a very good reason. Smoggy just catching Kai. And that's a plant. That's already
close to Thrash again, too.
Yeah, they've got a lot of ults building back through. And nobody, as you said, that feels like it was only a round ago. But Chichu's the one to be shouldering the deepest angle so far. Mosh going to go in. Buys a little bit of time. Counters any utility. They want to try and maybe close down towards elbow on. Turn on the flash and they run on in. Light work for nobody, making it look too easy up against the pistols, the light buy. And they look unfazed by this. There is a reason EDG were the team to break through from China, the ones that terrified so many of the Western teams. And you're seeing it clear as day here, Josh.
It appears as though EDG are doing this whole thing where it's you're on eco, we go A, you're on gun round, we go B. But I'm waiting for that switch up to come. We're now 6 rounds in, going into round 7 of this half, and EDG's been perfect on all of these plays and all of these reads on their attack side here. So when is Trace going to start trying to get ahead of what EDG's doing? And when's EDG actually going to switch it up and say, actually, we're not going to do this again? Because right now, full control. And that was what I was looking for. What is the tempo going to be? Is it going to be the sloppiness that we saw against PRX, or is it going to be how they were able to just fully dissect the map in their previous matches?
Trace have so many ults to play with, so many. And it's only 1 away as well for the Brim. Look, he can get that this round if he has the chance to. So, again, this could be a huge...
That op-up as well on defense, waiting for that contact up long B. But the Thrash might take it out or spot it early on.
I like the double stack Tortuga. Eventually, they might have to fall back. They're trying to stand their ground. Feng Feng, a little bit more time towards Long. How long does he wait here? Oh, yeah. There's the smokes. Counter 3, pull the trigger, hope for the best, but already you're seeing the fish ult come through. The Seekers going in. It's just mayhem on the site, but somehow everyone stands until then. Hebei finally tilts the scales, but it goes back instantly. Bianca still trying to hold towards Hookah. And just one by one they face, and one by one they fall. Chichu, so sharp. And still, even in all of that pandemonium, there's 4 alive. They've got a plant. Even in all that chaos, the composure is just so good from EDG.
If this would be your first time to watch Trace, you'd be thinking, how did they make it to this part? But they actually have really good ideas with their setups.
Yes.
EDG just knows them way too well right now and is finding all the perfect gaps and making them sweat, making them abandon what they have, what's strong, and then it just denies them. The walk up there, normally we've seen EDG walked all the way into B, take those fights into long B, but here they drop the smokes and deny that op. The first time we're seeing an op, you know, I'm thinking they're like, oh, that's a perfect adjustment.
Yep.
Like, you're going to catch them off guard. This is your first round on the board.
Great, yeah. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Man, it's again, though, this is where I have to give credit to EDG. There's only so many ways I can keep, saying how well they're playing, but it's 7-0. And again, they are so heads up. They are reading the economy well. They're reading Trace well, and it's a double timeout in one half. They are feeling the pressure here. And I think this does play a little bit towards potentially the teams like, who was it? Vitality and Lev just not really taking Trace as seriously as they should have done. I mean, it was a wake-up call midway through those series going, wait, these guys can hit back. Now, EDG have never been surprised by that. They've faced them numerous times, but it's the read and how intricate they are reading this game is such a big difference maker.
Burning the second timeout in the first half. You're down 7-0. This is your map pick. And you're probably thinking to yourself as well, if you don't get bind, how are you going to make it all the way to that third map? This could be a quick 2-0 for EDG if they don't change something up right here, right now. They don't have the best ultimates to work with. They do have Orbital Strike on that defense, so maybe helping them with a retake. But right now, the issue isn't about how they're retaking. Right now, they can't even hold the site.
And I think there is, when we talk about the mental game as well, you're facing a favored team that you've struggled with regionally. You're coming into the international stage. You've done really well. I mean, Trace were the Pick'em's destroyers. Absolutely.
Yes.
They surprised so many. I love to see it. But is that mental effect here, trying to face a team that you know has bested you in the past? They're not favoring themselves in the fights. They're not taking this like they were against, you're looking at against the likes of, what, Lev and Vitality. You've some of the big heavy hitters in those rosters. Safe, Aspas, you've got some nuts players, and they were absolutely doing them in. Now, barely off the starting blocks, excuse me. This is a worrying time in this buy. I mean, it's going to be missing parts.
Wait, does that perfectly spread and take out the trips? It takes out one of them. It doesn't get the second one, but I respect the idea, the concept behind that paint shells. And here comes the contact up. Yeah, here comes the contact up short as well.
I want to see if there's going to be a Prowler maybe towards
wait a moment.
Hookah. There is. Just keep that extra body towards that B site, and now they're going to start leaning forward. That's the contact made on one. Quite about the others yet. Re-smoke over towards A. They're still above a minute, so they can test the waters here. Maybe feel out for if there's a stack or if anything's going on.
This is going to be very dangerous for EDG. If they actually go and commit to B here, there's two deadlock traps happening right now. One for the Hookah jump out and one for long B by that teleport. If EDG spots someone and speeds up, they'll get caught in that trap. Sky Flash to follow as well.
Here comes the burst though. Kung leading the charge. Two players flashed up, stunned up, forced away. The trap was working until then. Nobody still laying down the pressure. Good pickup. A nice trade. Finally getting a little bit scrappy here. Doing some damage back in. But look at the space towards Shower as well. Don't forget about Chichu. But the timing here, they've kind of exchanged this. Kai now going to tuck into the corner. Wait for them both to pass. Oh, they gave it a look. Simon glanced that way for a second. And with 14 seconds, they've got to make a play here. Smoggy's got to lean through this. 10, he's running low on the time. He's trying to wait for Chichu to help out. And now the red carpet is rolled out. They can get the plant down. I mean, wait.
No time.
No, they can't. They can't get the plant down. Just a little too late. And the clock will be their biggest enemy this round. Wait. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That took some time. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure.
I love it, though. EDG kind of walked themselves into that trap, though. They had that space towards A. They used the paint shells and the Dizzy to kind of figure out what the situation was. But I love how Kai maneuvered his way up short there. And this is something that we should also pay attention to. When we flip sides and he goes on to attack, he's going to be the one that, if his teammates are going into B, he's trying to find that opening at A and call that audible. And vice versa. If he's going towards B, his teammates are going towards A, he's calling them back.
Aggression? Oh.
But I
like the attempt.
Trace needs to do this. They need to throw a wrench in the plan of EDG. If EDG can walk all the way up and get those contact duels, that's when they do their best. Stop them.
But it's a lean towards the other side of the map here. Bianca trying to get more information. Gonna know nobody, but and then the Prowler on top. So they're gonna have a good idea that something is coming this way. There's a couple more bodies behind this. Nobody still with a fair fight, but it's a beautiful pickup for Trace. Maybe this is the time it turns. Maybe one round is all they needed, and Heibei going to make sure of that. This could be a big follow-up here as well. Wants to swing it. He's got him caught. Trying to play patient, and there's the delivery. Heibei beautifully done. Going to keep him trapped in this. Send him away. The spike is in hand of Smoggy, and once again, Chichu has taken space. But look at Kai's positioning. He can cut off the rotation. And has Smoggy learned his lesson from before? He will now. Kai, beautifully done. This is different. They found a solution.
Very different. I worry that it's too little too late. Yes, they pick up a second round. There's a few rounds left of this half, so there's a way to make this a 5-7 half. And, you know, if EDG calls a timeout here, tries to make this like, hey, if they're reading us right now, we got to switch it up. We need to change the game plan, and we do have different elements of our game plan. We've seen it in different matches from EDG, how they can change the tempo, go fast, go slow, get sloppy, and do all these individual fights. But right now, it would be really just not a fun sight to see them start to crumble and let Trace just come back round by round, because they had such a strong start to this game.
But I quite like the fact that EDG have called a timeout going into the 10th round when Trace have only picked up 2 rounds. This is, it feels like a show of force, almost a show of dominance here. They don't even drop this much, and you're right, it is because Trace have adjusted well. They've come back in with a couple of switch-ups, a couple of new additions, again being able to slip a couple players through. Those aggressive starts have been paying off. What is the clear answer to this if you're in EDG's shoes? They've got still a great amount of money to buy with. I think they're maxed out on cash and some other players, so they're fine in that regard. So what do you do if you're in this position?
If I'm EDG, I look to start using A more, and I look to start using potentially showers. I know that AWP is up, so I need to figure out a plan to deal with that, get into the site without dying to it. I have to deal with those trips that are always placed at short A. It's like 100% of the time, but I'm also really close to multiple ults. We can get Viper's Pit off of a plant, Nightfall off of a Shower's Orb, Orbital Strike, all these really good ultimates. But right now, all these deadlock traps are towards B, and it looks like EDG actually wants to go towards A here. Trace may be reading this really well, starting to play their third-person B, but they give a deadlock trap over to A here to assist.
And I love that we have the operator here. There it is.
That's info as well.
That's 1 minute 30. They've noted where the operator is. Do they carry on? Do they respect it enough? Do they feel like they've got the angles to play with? They've committed the smokes. You got to feel they're going off this one. And thus far, they've got what they needed. Good info. Yes, they now know one's cracked up towards Lamps.
You have to be careful of Lamps because the Orbital Strike on the defense side for the retake.
Actually pausing to use it. Second time of Vascu on the plant here. There it is. Smoke's going to fade. They still have Showers control. Maybe a late presence from Smoggy, potentially. And that's going to be Kang dead. There's no way out. Beautiful combo work. We saw it with the C's earlier on. Nice bit of vengeance served at the right time. Nobody does well for the defuse. The stick in the defuse finally pulled off it. The Dizzy was outrageous. It found all 3, but still this is getting chaotic. Smoggy finally leads forward. He's their insurance policy. It never goes far away if he's still alive. 8 rounds now for EDG, tilting the scales back into their favor.
This is how well these teams know each other. Good reactions from both teams there. Adding that deadlock trap to that A defense here, getting on top of the truck with that operator, but that Dizzy, getting that flash off, forcing that off shot out, knowing exactly what the setup was. EDG is able to play this round perfectly. The fights, the team fights together. We're missing that teamwork from EDG on previous games where everything got really into these sloppy situations. Even when they're in the same spot, they weren't fighting together. But here, looking like they are on point, they're communicating really well.
I got you.
Thrash is available.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's being used straight away, so they've got to evacuate a little bit of this. How far do they commit? Nobody's sending it the whole way.
Wave 3!
And look who's coming! Kang the Collector is in the building! Oh, that's just heartbreak for Trace. Maybe feeling they were just going to clear close sight, maybe clear through Lamps, but no, all the way to CT. Found 3 of them and giving them a 2-man advantage already. Nobody looking to secure the round. Kang still wanting more.
And a flawless round.
Last round before the
3 ultimates on the board for the attackers here. Showstopper with a Nightfall, really good, aggressive combo ultimates. The one thing that they have to consider still, though, is that Trace's traps are really good to stop the really pacey attacks here. Here it works. They use the Thrash to get in the faces, Orbital Strike to zone out the back of the site here. Can they do it again on this type of round? I'm not sure. They'll probably revert to that slower pace, but here, just going in the faces, collecting a 4K and making it flawless.
It's night and day, though, isn't it, really? You're looking at EDG, strength upon strength. Trey's starting to feel the pressure of what it's like to face EDG in these events. Even stronger, even harder to handle. Kangkang just clearing the space up towards Octagon. Hebe wanting to fight back for it, though. Big info off the reveal there. Hebe may be dead, and so's his support. Bianche's gone down. Nobody desperate for that kill.
What
and Hebe, how are you alive? He's still thriving in the corner. I do not know how. He carved a little bit of safety, and he does get revealed by this, but still, he's still here. And it's somehow he's still holding this together. They've got to clear him eventually. Kai is on the way, but it feels like it's going to take a lifetime, and they've TP'd.
Kai could get a really good timing flank on Showers here. He's worried that someone's gone to short A from Showers after the teleport. The hat for Kai, if he gets one, he can find them all. It's on this first duel at Showers here on Smoggy.
Kai, get your gun out. Please get your gun out, Kai. Oh, and a moment away from the spotlight. Smoggy actually doesn't deliver. It's Kangkang now alive in a 1v1, and Hebe, somehow, the boy who survived on 1 HP! He had a chance! It was slim, and then none. And my God, we get a real series here. EDG showing off, showing us exactly why they are #1 from this region, looking strong as a collective. Game plan in place, individuals firing on all cylinders. You don't want to miss the end to this map.
Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed and get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Two rounds. I'm going to be honest, Josh, it's got me worried. Trace have looked fantastic to this point. They've been a team to watch, an underdog. It would be a fairy tale to go further, but they've met pretty much their maker, EDG, making a name for the region, and now showing why with 10 rounds in the first half.
Not all fairy tales have that happy ending, though, and we're seeing that right here. Yes, there's another map. Yes, there's a second half. But right now, Trace, they need to almost look flawless going into the second half here. Starting with that pistol round, they do have these really good combos, but all their effort's going to be towards that long B, using that deadlock net to take that control with 3 players, and then from there, just be able to execute their plans. Kai, backup option, lurking around the map towards A, and that's going to be what we're looking for basically the first 6 rounds here from Trace. Is EDG going to let that happen, though, or are they going to get ahead of it?
Similar start near on, 3 towards B long, and a high-low setup waiting on the site, and already an early lean coming over from nobody. Spotting a pixel, the flash good enough to force them away.
That spike position makes me question where the end goal is here for Trace.
But it's not particularly humbled EDG. They're still looking like they want to take space back. You got to make them respect you. At this point, Chichu won't. He's going to hold that space and try and get a follow-up shot. He's in trouble here. Doesn't get bailed out by the Dizzy, so nobody now on an island. Isolated, looking for a fight, and he finds one. Goes down, and now the site is under Trace control.
Spike planted.
2 versus 4 edge. EDG is trying to edge their way through, but not going to find an opening here. It's going to be very difficult with the crossfire on the back of the site here from Trace.
Kankan can get their attention and maybe hope that there's a gap for Smoggy to work through. Wait, he's just diving in! A wild attempt, but it wasn't going to land. It's good for Trace, though. This gives them a stepping stone forward.
A stepping stone. It's the first of many tall tasks right now. They've got a very, I mean, this is going to be a hard uphill battle the entire way through. If they want to be able to get back into this game, they need to take it round by round. They got to let EDG make these mistakes as well. But we're going to keep seeing the same opening from Trace because it's tried and tested. It's what works for them. Taking that long B space, going into hookah afterwards, it is just very strong. When you have this composition, you have to play into the plans that you've created.
The firing squad handled in the blink of an eye. Trace put down Simon, Nobody, and Chichu, and then just gonna run it up long. Got everything they needed. Gonna clear through, still with the dog. Gonna be diligent in case it's a stack. You never know. Kind of makes you think it might be if they've gone so almost over-aggressive, but so far, smooth sailing. Site's theirs, plant next. No problems. Maybe some problems.
Spike planted.
Smoke and spawn. Gonna make this difficult. 2-1-5. Trying to make this not be a flawless round. That's basically the goal here.
And this is where you're seeing the oppressive nature of that deadlock coming in as well. Elbows off the cards. They can't lean that way. They're kind of just stuck here till the end of the round, which, as it stands, they're probably fine to beat. I'd rather give it up to the Spike. Smoggy just trying to toy with them and not going to fall for it. Already, this is good. 5 standing. These are critical key ways forward for Trace. This is a real chance. This is a real chance for them. I'm scared, though, coming into this first big buy round, though, because I feel like they have to be at least competitive in this bonus.
Bonus round for Trace. EDG, yeah, they need to be a little bit competitive here because 10-4, that lead is kind of dwindling away right now. But Trace might change things up for EDG. They haven't tested this A site. They haven't seen the defense. They have no idea what's going on. They're going in almost blind here. And EDG could have the perfect defense waiting for them. Dog, up short. Here comes the net.
Yeah, they're going confident. Fun going to be leading the way, but his Kankan can already find Heibei. They're not going to stop. They're going to see a barrel. They know that Smoggy is here, and the pre-fire is perfect. Trace going to be taking this by force. The Spike's still recovered. There's still a chance here, but Nobody doesn't want that. He doesn't want to give him a chance in hell. 2 bodies drop, maybe a third. No. Kai stands his ground, and we're in a 2v2. There's a minute still here. This is still early in the round. If you're Trace, you can pause. You can back away. You can calm the tempo down. Try and make EDG question where they're heading.
This is where I worry about Trace. They're not really in these situations all that much. They don't have the most well-understood concepts when it comes to these mid-rounds, these clutch situations, not as well as EDG, not as well as other teams in the tournament right now. So as this round develops, Trace waiting for any re-aggression from EDG. And remember, this was a 3 versus 2 for EDG, pressing the issue a little bit too much. Nobody gave it up.
30
Put into a 2 versus 2 here. Playing for sound, that's what EDG is doing, waiting for Trace to get into the site, get that spike planted, show their hand, and then group up and go together in that 2 versus 2. Chichu hoping to find someone as they're leaving the site after they planted.
Okay. Oh,
that's the opening.
Yes, there's the freebie. Does he show discipline? He does. He's not going to overextend here, just watching so you can see them walk. Dips down towards the site itself and needs to wait for Simon to come over, who still has utility, still has the C's and the Haunt there.
Those are footsteps. Fang Fang knows exactly where both these players are now. It's on him to isolate the fights, though.
Can he do it? Simon getting closer.
1 off paint shells.
This is huge. C's goes in. Might need to play forward. Chichu doesn't play those games. And EDG get past the bonus round up against them. 2 still standing. EDG will be happy enough. Again, they've got 11 rounds, Josh. They can get closer in these. They don't have the pressure on them right now.
They're really happy about that opening as well. On top of those triple boxes, finding that first pick off. EDG, it's on Trace to be able to play a perfect game at the moment. Right now, going and doing a fast play towards A, that's very far away from the game plan that we've seen against Lev, against other teams as well, where they are able to just control that long B area early. Even if they wanted to start with a little bit of a fake prod towards B, then come back to A, that works better. But EDG picking up that first kill before Trace got anything going.
I guess the silver lining is it was a costly gun round. So they are going to be suffering money-wise, right? We're going to see a judge come out, 2 sheriffs. It's just that you have 11 rounds. That's where the scary thing is. And as you highlighted, Trace still a little less experienced than EDG in these pressure games. I'll step closer for Hebe. They back away here. So early look towards A, but no commitment.
And this Prowler on the defense sees nothing down long B. So this timing is going to be very big. If the contact comes up, a Fangfang popping that boombot's going to give away the information. A flash to follow from Sky. It's 2 towards B now.
But I'm worried with Kangkang here. I don't know why, but this guy just scares the life out of me sometimes. So dangerous, even with just that sheriff. Getting proactive could kind of be what,
showers.
Okay, this is all starting to crumble a little bit here. Do they expect the double stack? They absolutely don't, and that's why I'm scared of this man. Hebe going to suffer for it. Quick paint shot, but already Fangfang trying to take the space back, and he's got him. But they know that one's missing. Kangkang was here. They saw him in the kill feed. They know he's still around. Haunted by him. The judge still be ratting off shells, trying to find something. Kangkang waiting for a pixel. Smoked off for now. And a bit of an exchange of space, trying to clear through towards CT. They've done it. Smoggy's fallen. This is where it gets difficult. It's a 2v3. Looking for a pixel, looking for a player.
Orbital strike, primed and ready.
First player spotted, time to move forward. Not gonna happen. Very well done by Trace in the end, keeping composure in that very volatile moment at the end then, but keeping that cool. Worked out for them, and they got themselves another step here.
That round could have easily gone out of their control, losing those first 2 players. This push here through the Viper wall, and then the second follow-up, EDG, having that 5-on-3, but the quick equalization, Showstopper invested, and, I mean, realistically, though, that was a full gun round from the side of Trace, whereas EDG, they lightly invested. They have some sheriffs in those rounds, and it looks like their economy's still not really in shape, but they have that round lead, so they're going to play that. They're going to make sure that their buy is as good as anything, and just try to close out slowly those last 2 rounds that they need.
And these are confidence builders, though, for Trace. These are the rounds that you want to get clean enough. Keep them going. Feel out the game, warm into the game. I mean, half of the players were barely above 4 or 5 kills after that first half. It was a real grueling affair. So if they can just start feeling out the game, and this setup's lovely. This could really catch Simon here. See if they go for it.
Do the EDG players want to use the teleporter on this round, though, and get that fast flank?
Nah, this is comfortable for now, isn't it? Getting what they need. Forcing Simon to respect this. They now know his new position. He's fallen away. There's the TP. Kai ready and waiting. Nobody gone. Smoggy spotted. And the long creeping death on the way. Didn't need it. Kai warming up now. Starting to look deadly. Simon again still being kept in check. Kangkang kept behind the cage. And there's no escaping. 5 stand. Confidence builders right here, right now.
This is going to be a very important round coming up. This is so important for Trace to continue their streak right now. They're playing pretty good. Not exactly perfect, but close enough right now to be able to crawl back round by round. It's on EDG to kind of switch something up here. Yeah, they gave up a couple of rounds where they had basically a low buy, low investment, but still, the only round that they picked up this half so far was that 2 versus 2 in the retake situation, which came down to 2 versus 1. Now, though, ops out. Rash available for the defense. And how is Trace going to get around that? Switching it up, not starting towards B this time, starting towards A, taking that showers control first.
This is quick, this is early. They've met nobody thus far, and he's already slipped deeper towards side, kind of playing back by Tribox, leaving that line for Kangkang over towards short.
Now, the way that they're spread apart here makes me think that it's going to be back to B for Trace. Get that orb if it is still by long B right now. Controlling that space is Fangfang. The orb is still in play. That annihilation could come out and be a game changer for Trace getting into this round here.
I'm looking to see if EDG are re-clearing short, though. I'm looking at them kind of stacking up a little bit here, getting quite close. I don't think they are. Okay, backing away.
They have that pivot. They have that op up. They're looking down the sight line here, and Trace trying to do a little bit of a fake jab towards B, but the real commit is going to be towards A, right into the sight of the op here.
Still looking at nobody being this close by. And you're right, Kung on top as well. They're not falling for it. EDG are really sticking to their guns on this. Already sending Wingman into showers. This is what it comes down to, is does it land? This man doesn't often miss, but this time he does. A new lease at life for Trace for the second time of asking. And the wall is just in effect, EDG. There's no access to this site. Kai has no opportunities either. No one's playing towards him, just constantly smoked off. Smoggy holding the line. Looking, just trying to backpedal away. They've got 10 seconds. Try and keep those weapons because you're not getting the round.
The clock ticks out, times out Trace here. 12 rounds is going to be picked up for EDG, and right now, did you see how they didn't even budge that round? They didn't move. They lost Shower's control, but full control over long B. That's Simon holding it, spotting Hookah as well. They knew that right now, this is all fake pressure. Hold their setup, it's a ruse. We're going to be able to just connect this and be fine. This pick off out of the sky. Pops up shows up right after as well if more players got by, but nobody's shutting down that second and third player as well. EDG on the cusp of closing out this first map, and this is Trace's map hit. They have no more timeouts. They burned both in that first half before round 10, I believe.
Yeah, nobody's got the fish out. We've got 2 away from the orbital strike, 1 off from the Viper's pit. On the other side, a couple of ults very nearby. You're going to have, I mean, Seekers for BNK. Heibay's got his, but we asked for a flawless game. It's a tall task. It's a lot to ask for, but it's pacey. Oh, and Smoggy just denying off the rip. Simon's been caught, though. Pulled on over. Does he get saved in time? I don't think so. He's dead to rights. Molly to deny the plant and keep control here. Heibay's got his man. That's Simon gone. But there's not much security here for Trace. They are surrounded on basically all fronts. How are they going to get a plant from this?
The op's still up. Smoke's about to dissipate as well. And the refresh. But they're out of the smokes on the attack side. Both sides basically out of smokes, just down to the Viper wall.
And it looks like Looking, trying to find them some options elsewhere, but...
Just a soft reset, yeah.
Yeah, but he might meet his maker on the other side in the form of Chichu. I don't know what you're meant to do here. Chichu's position is just, he's just a safety net. He is their backup plan in case it goes wrong. And now hearing the TP, he might be in the right place, the right time, but outdone. And now suddenly there's a new chance, a new lease at life. Kai can activate the lurk here as well. He's going to hear the steps. This is perfect. They just got to stick the landing. God,
no way.
Nobody against the odds in that fight.
He's got flash on that retake too.
Oh, spot on. Seekers can come down. Notes at least 2 towards CT. They now know it's hard to break back in. If you think how suffocating, how oppressive that deadlock can be, a triple swing, and they're fighting this out, but they can fall away. Oh,
wait,
was it down to a 1v1? What just happened?
He's got wingman for the defuse as well.
Oh my god, it's down to the wire. BNK, does he get spotted? No, it's perfect positioning! BNK keeping hope alive! God, that was dangerous though.
As soon as that fight happened at Long B, Chichu going down, you would think Trace closing this one out, easy peasy, no problem at all. Kai not getting the jump on the player at short A. Well, he got the jump, he missed the shot, he missed the opportunity there. And then coming down to 3 versus 3, this was so close. And Trace, they want to be able to come all the way back, get it all the way into overtime here. They need to be a little bit tighter than this. They can't let these rounds get this close.
God. If that Dizzy had caught, that could have been, I mean, so many small factors, but we're back in the game already. This is a pacey 1-2. Don't want to miss this for a second. Trying to find Chichu, but Chichu's got help. He's got friends here. You don't get a 1v1 against him. You got Kang now leaning forward, wants to be the aggressor, and he meets BNK.
Oh, no.
The judge, though, the jury waiting, and Smoggy becoming the executioner to what could have been the turnaround for Trace here. BNK saved him before, but I don't think he can save him again. 6 bullets and a dream, and the dream just died. 13-7, EDG fully in control in this map.
That's a scary prospect going into Sunset. That was Trace's map pick right there. EDG has looked so good on Sunset, so it's going to be very important for Trace to be able to play way better than they did here. And EDG off to a great start.
you'd believe. You're the only thing that really makes me want to live. There are times when I feel like I have no will to fight. You always come and chase away the demons from my mind. You're beautiful inside and out. And I wish to thank you. For you're the one who made me want to stay.